Over 3,000 years ago, the world was a very different place. The Mediterranean and the Near East were dominated by the glorious pharaohs of Egypt, the Hittite kings who ruled Anatolia, and the wealthy Mycenaean lords of the Aegean. This was history's first globalized world, an age where bronze weapons shined, colossal palaces were built, and merchant ships carried immense riches. The Bronze Age. So, how could such an advanced and interconnected system suddenly and almost completely disappear? Welcome to one of history's greatest turning point and one of its darkest mysteries, the Bronze Age collapse. To understand this era, we have to imagine just how advanced this world was. It wasn't just a few kingdoms, it was a complex web connecting the Mycenaeans, Hittites, Egyptians, Babylonians, and many others. The lifeblood of this network was trade. Copper from Cyprus met tin from Afghanistan to create the era's supermaterial, bronze. Bronze didn't just make armies deadlier, it also made agriculture more efficient and art more magnificent. This international system was so sophisticated that kings sent diplomatic letters to one another, formed alliances, and even arranged marriages between royal families. Everything seemed to function in a stable, predictable order. But around 1200 BC, a dark shadow began to fall across this brilliant landscape. Something went catastrophically wrong. Archaeological evidence shows that one great city after another was burned, looted, and abandoned. The magnificent Mycenaean palaces in Greece went up in flames. The superpower of Anatolia, the Hittite Empire, was wiped from the map. The port city of Ugarit, the heart of trade, was destroyed, never to be rebuilt. This wasn't a disaster that struck one or two cities. This was a total collapse of civilization itself. Within a century, literacy vanished, the population declined dramatically, and the Mediterranean world plunged into a dark age that would last for hundreds of years. So, who was the culprit behind this apocalypse? Ancient Egyptian records give us our first and most popular suspect, the Sea Peoples. Inscriptions on Egyptian walls depict foreign warriors fighting with the pharaoh's armies, carrying their families and belongings in carts. These people came from the sea, set everything ablaze, and seemed determined to destroy every civilization they encountered. Who were they? Their origins are still a great mystery. Some think they were refugees fleeing the collapsing Mycenaean world, while others believe they were invaders from the western Mediterranean. Whatever the cause, the chaos and destruction unleashed by these mysterious peoples are considered one of the primary triggers of the collapse. But perhaps the enemy wasn't an army from abroad, but the sky itself. Scientific evidence points to a period of severe and prolonged climate change that struck the Mediterranean, often called the mega-drought. Tree rings, lake sediments, and pollen analyses show that the region suffered from a severe drought lasting nearly 300 years. Drought meant that crops failed, livestock died, and rivers ran dry. This meant famine. Famine forces people to abandon their lands and seek new resources. This could have led to mass migrations, rebellions, and a complete breakdown of social order. Perhaps the so-called Sea Peoples were in fact hungry and desperate refugees forced to leave their homes. Another theory suggests the fault lay not outside but within the system itself. The Bronze Age world, much like our modern one, was highly interdependent. The tin and copper required to make bronze came from hundreds, even thousands of kilometers away. What would happen if one of these trade routes was disrupted? A small crisis in one place could create a domino effect, bringing down the entire system. Perhaps an earthquake, a rebellion, or a minor famine was enough to upset this delicate balance. The civilizations had become so complex and so fragile that they simply collapsed under their own weight. So who was the real culprit? Today, most historians believe there is no single answer. What brought about the end of the Bronze Age was likely a perfect storm of all these factors combined. The famine caused by climate change forced people to migrate. These migrations triggered the invasions known as the Sea Peoples. These invasions severed the trade routes of kingdoms already struggling with internal problems and overdependence, and this, in turn, led to a complete systemic collapse. Each disaster fed the next, until an entire world order vanished into history. The mysterious end of the Bronze Age offers us a profound lesson. No civilization, no matter how powerful or advanced, is invincible. It is a cautionary tale, thousands of years old, reminding us how fragile, complex systems can be, and that we should never underestimate the power of nature. Thank you for exploring this historical mystery with us. What do you think caused the end of the Bronze Age? Share your theories with us in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next video.